All right, we're gonna start the Ssfc. I already have. I'm just doing a single coil for the point of this video. Single piece of 28 gauge Canthal. I got my two 40 gauge pieces of wire for securing the ribbon, and then I'm gonna use Nichrome 80 for the ribbon. And then I think I'm gonna have my stagger NiCad 80, and then the fuse, the 36 stainless. And if you're curious, these are usually this is usually what I use to vape, just because it's a little bit cheaper, and I don't feel as bad if I fuck up a bunch of wire. So we got that, and a lot of it's going to be explaining. I'm going to try to do the best that I can. Oh fuck. I'm going to try to do the best that I can to get a decent video here for you, and it shouldn't take too long. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the drill, attach it to our swivel, the 28 gauge Canthal or whatever wire you want to use. Alright, so it's in there like that. And typically this is the super duper easy part. I'm showing you this way. There's several other ways that you can stagger wire. I don't know if you have a way down or not. You'll have to forgive the autofocus. It's kind of in and out. This is off of my camera. So you're just gonna have to bear with me, man. And this way is kind of a waste of wire. I mean, it's really not that bad. Hopefully you can see me. So first, let's see. We're gonna do the NiCad 80, and you can do both. What we're doing here is a force fuse. And that's how you get the perfect stagger. Like, you can't get any more perfect than this right here, and it's super simple. It's basically a double Clapton, and then your second fuse, you pretty much just take it right back off, and you'll be left with a perfect stagger. I like to do this fast, obviously. The trick to this is your first fuse is going to be half the length of the wire, and your second will make a full piece. And I guess be conscious of whatever you want to use. I like to leave it, I don't like to clip, I like to leave the wire on so it's easier to pull back off. Here we go. And if you go over your Clapton, like if it rolls back like it just did there, you can back it off and just keep going. And I mean, I guess it depends at a certain point. If your spaces are too big, then your second force fuse isn't going to work out the greatest. But your first fuse halfway doesn't have to be perfect, because if you do have little small gaps here and there, your second fuse will fill them and make it perfect, so that when you take it off, you won't even be able to tell. It'll be perfect. And I'm not a video junkie. I don't know how to do editing and stuff like that, so you're going to get this whole video. So I'm trying to give you as much information as I can as possible while not taking forever, so you don't want to gotta watch a freaking movie. Because, you know, I know how that is. I know when I'm on YouTube, they show a bunch of bullshit that, you know, some people don't really care to see. I clipped this at about an inch. I guess it doesn't really matter whether you clip it long or short. That's up to you. And I'm going to use the same wire. So, I will put it whatever okay, so I like to fuse regardless of what it is. I like to fuse in the right position, turning right. But it all depends. Anyway, put it in the opposite direction of whatever way you clapped in, and we're just gonna hold on to this and just loosen it up a little bit so it's a little more free on the decor. And now it's got a little bit of play to it, you know, kind of like you're gonna decor an alien. And then now we're gonna take this wire here again, and this is so easy. You can practically do it with your eyes closed. You're just gonna put it in the tip of your drill. And it's funny, I used to tie these onto this little nub here, but then I seen somebody stick it inside, and I was like, what? That's way better. And the purpose of loosening this up is to ease your force fuse clapton. I mean, literally, you can go full bore. And now it's just fusing itself. It's fusing itself in between. I know you can't see it worth a fucking shit. But son of a bitch, anyhow. It's son of a bitch. It's fusing itself in between. See, maybe I can go like this. See that? So basically, I'm fusing the second fuse is force fusing in between the first. Same thing you would do for like a interlock for an alien. This is the same way. This is how you would do an interlock alien. But yeah, we're at 8 minutes so far, so we're not doing terrible. Again, I don't even know if you can frickin' see me. I hope you can. We'll get this done real quick. And this will make the full length. Basically, I'm filling in the gap, so it's gonna make a half core turn into a full core. It's fucking hopping. And maybe you have an easier way of staggering. I know a few different ways. I've heard of using a button off of like a shirt or something, and I've seen good results with that. I haven't tried it yet. I do have a button sitting over here. I haven't had time to try, so I don't know. I personally, this gives such good results that I feel like a little wasted wire is worth the sacrifice to me. But I mean, if you would like to conserve wire, then probably nailing a different stagger method would be the way to go. And we're just getting towards the end here. And I'm gonna cut it just so I can put this shit away. Alright, so I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna pull a little bit off and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So we got fuse 1, which is the shorter wire, and fuse 2, which is the longer wire. Now, in this case, they're both the same alloy, but if you wanted to do this and you wanted a specific alloy to stay on there, then obviously you've got to be conscious of that. So basically we're gonna put the drill in reverse. We're gonna grab the second fuse and we're gonna loosen it just about as much as we did with the first one. Now once we do that, we're gonna, again, this all depends. They're both the same alloy in this instance, so it doesn't matter which one I grab. That's up to you and how you want to do things. So I will put you down one more time. I'm gonna remove just a little bit. All right. I'm gonna remove just a little bit. I'm gonna show you what it's doing, and then the motherfucker wrapped backwards. And then I'm gonna pause it, and once I get to the ribbon, son of a fucking bitch. Once I get to the ribbon, then I'll get back to you. You just gotta the rat's nest. And I don't know, maybe I can cut some of this from my phone. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I am gonna pause you though. Alright, so I've already backed off some. You can see I'm removing either fuse, it doesn't matter in this case. And it's leaving a perfect stagger. Now before I pause you again to finish this, I will say that however way you do it, you have to be aware of the direction you fuse, because that is going to be the same way that you fuse your Ssfc to get your finished product. So I'll be back with you shortly. All right, so here is the stagger wire. I'm not even gonna attempt to go the full length just because I know damn straight it's not gonna want to focus for me. But just know that it's freaking perfect, and you can easily achieve the same thing. So now I'm going to cut my full length in half, and you just have to be sure that you keep the fronts. You keep the fronts, not the fronts. So like here, and like the start of your second piece, you keep them the same direction so that it doesn't fuck up your fusing stage. Because if you got one forward and one backward, then it's not gonna want to fuse, right? And you're gonna fight it the whole way. All right, I'm just gonna move that out of the way, and you should be hopefully you can see me. All right, so I'm gonna take my pliers. I got my 0.3 ribbon. I'm gonna pull off 4 pieces. I'm gonna pull off 4 pieces of 0.3. Yeah, I don't measure for anything. I just kind of eyeball and just give it a little stretch. You don't want to stretch too much, obviously, but just enough to straighten out the wire a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's 1 or 2. Three and one more. Put that some bitch over here. All right, so I'm gonna take my first 40 gauge. I'm gonna just take a guess and say you can't see that, but I just put the 40 gauge down, and I'm gonna take all 4 pieces of ribbon. I could care less how close I am on the bottom, but on the top I'm gonna make sure that they're all the same, and I'm not worrying about how they're stacking just yet. You can use water or saliva. I use saliva for my builds. I use water for customers. And just kind of run your fingers down, and it'll start to stack on itself. Like so. And once it starts to stack on itself, take one end and you fold it in half, just like that. I don't know if you can see that. And you're gonna pinch the fold, the half, and you're kind of gonna give it a little tug. And you're gonna let go. So you're gonna let go so it's like that, right? And then I'm right-handed. I'll usually kind of ease into it. Maybe you can push one into the other. I just kind of start off like that and work my way to the center, and make sure that they're stacked on top of each other. Kind of push it in, make it a little bit more skinnier. And then eventually you will have them, as long as they're stacked right here, what we're about to do, it will be perfect when it's done. So then you take your 40, and the reason I use 40 gauge is because when you wrap the wire, when you wrap the 40 gauge around your 0.3 or 0.4, 0.5, whatever you're using, when you wrap it around there, it's a smaller gauge, so it's more flexible, I guess you could say. And when you crimp it with your nylons, as soon as you can find them, for fuck's sake. Alright, I'm not using my nylons. I'm going to use a fucking pliers. Basically, you just crimp the end so that they're nice and next to each other. I'm going to clip the excess off. Now I'm going to, from where I wrap the wire around, I'm going to grab the very top where the wire starts, and I'm going to pull down probably like an inch. And it's going to be solid like that. It's going to, it's going to be nice and solid. I'm going to take my second piece of 40 gauge. Actually, it's this one right here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna wrap it about 10 times. I don't know. Sometimes I do more. Sometimes I do less. Okay. Again, I'm gonna crimp it. I suggest using your nylon pliers, but who knows where the fuck mine are at the moment. I don't know where the hell they are, but they're not here, so I'm doing what I need to help you out. Weird. Alright, so now I gotta cut my previous build out of this throw that sumbitch in the trash. I'm gonna put, now I haven't pulled the second 40 gauge down yet. All right, I just put it in the thing, right? And now I'm pulling it down. All right, kind of. Looks good enough to me. So I'm gonna run my finger down, keep pressure on it, and do this number. I do that shit all the time. There's so many hot glue marks on my table. Well, that's what it's for. Right. All right. And I'm just going to keep tension on it until it dries. And even when it's done drying, it's not going to, it's not going to be a perfect stick. And I personally, I haven't watched enough videos to really know. I just kind of watched videos, understood what I needed to do, and then kind of did it myself. So I don't really know if they're supposed to look like perfect. And it definitely does when there's tension on it, and that's really all that matters when it comes down to it, because you're going to have tension on it when you have it in the drill. All right, that's nice and solid. So now I'm going to clip the excess ribbon off like so. And I got both of my pieces of staggered ribbon here in the same fuse direction. And I want to make sure that I know which end is which, because even though these are in the same direction, if you put the back in the front, then your fuse direction on the drill is going to be wrong, and it's not going to work. You're going to have to hold the wire at a goofy angle off the spool or something. I don't even know. But I just make sure and do it the right way. Hopefully you can still see me. All right, so I'm gonna fuse. I got NiCad Nichrome 80 stagger, and I'm gonna fuse with stainless steel 36, and that'll give it pretty much the same look as my pattern build that I recently posted on Vape Tool. And I'm just gonna take a little piece of 36 to manually wrap my staggered frames to kind of hold them in place. And I usually start at the swivel end just because I find that's how I get the best results. And I'm sure you've seen it in other videos. You want to be gentle with this wire. I don't know, like Ndivine 83 on YouTube. Who hasn't seen his videos, I am not that meticulous because I don't feel that it's that big of a deal. But I just kind of manually wrap, and they don't all have to be in the staggers. It's just more so to keep it still and where it needs to be. And I'll probably go one more around. Give it a little crunch with these fucking pliers, because I don't know where my nylons are. Alright, and I'm just gonna run my fingers down, follow it down so that everything stays close to each other. Actually, just to help the process, I'm going to put one of these little clips on there that I bought for this reason. They don't have to be like super perfect because, well, they don't have to be. Now I used hot glue. You see how it's kind of out? You don't ever want your Ssfc staple stagger fuse Clapton to be like that. You want on the drill side, you want it to be you want it to be as close to perfect as possible, because if you don't, then yeah, it's just gonna fight you. So being underneath this hot glue, I have my 40 gauge, so it's not going to come apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat up this hot glue and push my frames in to where they need to be and let that sucker dry. And it kind of works as it's actually an idea that I didn't even really intentionally do. I apologize. You can't even, you can hear me talking more than you can probably see. But I guess something is better than nothing. Yo. Alright, so I'm going to clip the excess shit off. Is my fucking phone even still on? Yep. We're on about a half hour. And I guess the cool thing about this is if you get anything from this, hopefully not pointless video, it's going to be, I guess hearing my opinion on things, and yeah. So now I'm going to take my hot glue again. I hope you have hot glue, because if you don't, well, there's not to say that you can't do it without, but hot glue makes your life way easier. I'm just going to put some more hot glue on there. Actually, I didn't heat it up enough. It's kind of funny. I would have been done with this already, but I'm trying to be a little more meticulous and teach, be more helpful to you. So you can see on this end, it's not perfect, but it will work, and it won't really fight you because, well, it may not be like super duper close right where the glue is, but once you get down, it'll be way fucking easier. So I'm gonna put you back here. Check this is dry enough. So now I'm going to put my drill back in the right revolution that I fused with, and I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this little nub on the bottom, and the flat side of the staple staggered fuse Clapton, whatever you want to call it, is going to go into the drill and rest on the bottom, and then I'll tighten it down manually. Alright, and once you get it in the drill, it might look something like that. And that's not really too bad. I'll use these little clips and kind of adjust it a little bit before I start fusing. And this is where it gets tricky because I'm not sure if I can figure out a way for you to see. Oh my god, that would be freaking dope. If I could get you like that. Can I get you like that? Dude. Yeah, that wouldn't even be helpful anyways. Fuck my life. Well, I'm gonna put you down like that, I guess. Hopefully you can see.